So a very good morning to all of you. I just need to confirm, students, whether we are live or not. Just give me a minute so that we can just confirm. So yes, students. So basically in the ATX, we have up now planned up and we have completed a very good series where we have learned about the income tax administration. Actually, the base behind putting up the income tax, the base behind how the income tax and who is going to govern the income taxes. Then student, we have learned upon the tax planning, right? We have certain options with which I can understand, like, okay, with this situation I can avoid, no, I can save my tax. Okay, so it's not basically like manipulating for the payment of the tax. No, we don't want to manipulate our taxes payment, but rather we want to plan accordingly so that I can save a lot of tax. Okay, so that is something which we have understood in the tax plannings too. Then student, in the last class I have taken up a very important and a beautiful chapter, which if you have left it, I am just requesting you guys, you need to watch the video and come up again. So ye have completed the inherent taxes, which most of the student feels, okay, ma'am, it's boring, ma'am, we don't want to read it. But students, to be very frank, very precise, it's just the inherent tax, which is so small, so simple, so pretty easy, that if it comes in your examination, it's a cash mark for you guys. So please don't ignore that. Please, you haven't studied it, go guys, watch the video and come back. We have taken up a small topic of VAT also. So today we have came across where we are going to solve some important questions which are thought of, okay, let us solve it, because we know we have a very important ACCA study hub, which students you are not supposed to leave prior to you give your examination. So once you are done with the ACCA resources, maybe if you don't know from where you are able to access the ACCA resources, do check the first video for our December 2023 attempt. And students, in case if you want to know more about the income tax computation, we have taken up a session in September 2023 where we have calculated a lot of questions. Along with that, we have understood a lot of concepts also. So students, I have a humble request. If you haven't watched, do watch. Maybe that will be something giving you more clarity. In the last session also, that is basically in September 2023, students, we have taken upon 2 papers. So this time also, basically not tomorrow, basically day after tomorrow and prior to that, we'll be doing 2 papers again, in which we'll be trying to solve the important questions, like all the questions. We'll be getting to know how we are able to write the paper in the examination so that I can achieve the maximum marks. Most of the students knows the answer also, because when it comes to ATX, yeah, like mostly I am in love with the practical subjects, so I am any which ways biased towards practical subjects, no matter it is ATX, SBR, yeah, obviously. But there, you know, it's not just getting the numbers, it's enough. No, getting numbers isn't enough. Then what to go ahead with? Students, we are supposed to do what? We are supposed to find out, we are supposed to analyze, okay, how did I got this number? So same way, students, over here also in ATX, when I get the numbers, okay, afterwards, down to that, I am in a need to analyze it. So obviously my first question in the examination is going to be from the matter where you'll get the professional markings for your communication skills also. So over here we know the first question mostly comes from writing the reports, isn't it? So we are just supposed to write certain reports to a note to somebody, to subject to someone about the issues what we feel, about the issues that we have to cater for. Yeah. Then up we have markings for a commercial acumen, using a professional skepticism and trying to write the answers. Meantime, students, it's not just about evaluating, means getting the numbers. No, it's more about analyzing how I got the numbers, right? So with that overview, we are just going to solve some questions which I have already taken up from our ACCA study hub only. So I don't think like again there is a need from my side to show you where the ACCA study hub resources are and from where we get the questions. So in case if you have any sort of doubts, guys, a humble request, do check the videos. Yeah, do check the videos where we have like solved a lot of questions. Just give me a minute, I'm just opening it up, trying to open it up. I think like it's there. Okay, just give me 1 minute more. A minute more. Over here now, if you can see, students, I have taken up some small topics. What's the small topics? You'll say, okay, we have taken up some questions and the chapter which I have like left up. Which chapters I have left up in this series, in this part. I'm just making it very bold so that it will be visible to you guys. Are you able to see this? Yeah. This time now, students, I have not taken up things with you, that is first of all income tax computation, but this time and I just want to like denote something for you guys. Please have a marking, please have a thought process that yeah, this is exactly how it looks in your ACCA study resources. It is exactly the same. So students, just for your reference, I just want to say, students, the examination which comes for, let's say, June, September, December and March, the subject remains the same, the topic remains the same, the chapters remain the same, the Finance Act remains the same. So whatever you have studied for September 2023 attempt, and in case if you are going to appear for December 2023, very good news that things haven't changed, things have not changed. For example, if you are going to plan for December exam or maybe March, things are same. But I always tell my students, again I would want to say that in case you have planned to give your first time attempt in March, right? Okay, unless until it is your last paper for sure, and then you are soon to be an affiliate. Prior to that, in case if you have some other subjects to appear also, please appear that paper. Why? Look, yeah, over here it's very cold, so I am not fine actually. Sorry for my sneezes and all that you have to bear it. I'm so sorry for that, guys. पहले से ही मैं बता रही हूँ. Yeah. So students, let's say for example, if you have any other subject, if you have any other paper to give, so and if you're planning up to give in the March, please give that other subject. Please don't give. I will always request students not to give first time ATX in March. So you'll say, ma'am, why? Yeah, unless it is in your last paper, because with the God grace you gave the paper, everything went well and you cleared. It's superb. But what if you didn't clear? Oh my god, if you didn't clear, then your attempt is in June, and guys, the syllabus will change in June. So it's not that complete, no, some rates will change, something will change, right? So that needs to be taken care of. And the second disclaimer which I always give to my students, that I always tell students, okay, before you give your examination, try to solve mocks. So you'll say, yeah ma'am, we are solving the mocks, ma'am, we are solving the past papers, yeah, we are solving a lot of things, right? Yes ma'am. But are you solving the correct answers with the correct answers? Yeah ma'am, we are solving with whatever the answers are given in the suggested one, in the assigned materials next to that marks. Are the answers updated? Are the figures updated? Are the numbers updated? Guys, please, a humble request, whenever you solve a paper, please take that tax rates notes which will be available to you in your examination. Please see the current rates. Please apply the correct current rates. Otherwise, no matter you practice a lot, but then your answers will be different and you will not get marks. So have an habit of always opening it up next to you the tax rates. So this is how I explain my students also, because now in ACCA we are not taught to do a huge amount of hard work. No, we are going to be professionals soon, so we need to have a smart work. So smart work comes from the smart move. So yeah, here it is. Cool. So yeah, this is what just I want to give the disclaimers prior to I start up any of the topics. Okay, now let us just start with the first question, which is there in from your chapter number 2. Okay, in chapter number 2 I have taken this question up. Okay, you can see in your ACCA study resources also. If you want, I can do it from there. But there, questions and answer, everything is written, so it don't give me any space so that I can write it. Okay, so I have just like cropped and pasted over here. I didn't wanted to go ahead with any other question, so maybe that. Okay. So the first question over here comes up with the name of personal allowances. So yeah, the very common solution. I have requested a very big a very big apology from now only. Let me take up a medicine. So yeah, I'm so sorry for my sneezes that you have to bear with. I'm so sorry. I have taken the medicines, but over here now it's very cloudy, and yeah, it's very much raining also. Chalega, chalo. We can just start it. Okay. So with that best starts, let's start with the first question which I told you about personal allowances. So students, you know that personal allowance is an allowance which an individual who is earning some income gets, right? He gets an income. On the income he gets some certain allowances. So when it comes to personal allowances, does all the individual who is earning gets the personal allowances, or there are certain people who get the personal allowances and certain people don't get personal allowances? So basically the concept goes over here that personal allowances, those who earn income, that is something around 1 lakh, okay, only they get personal allowances, and the personal allowances is always 1 to 570. That is what will be given in your question. But if you know something more, the personal allowances can be earned and can be like got up, like the allowances is available towards those people also, towards those individuals also whose earnings or whose total taxable income is between this, from pound 1 lakh to pound 125 140, so that they get a full personal allowances. But beyond pound 125 140, they will get no PA, no personal allowances. So you should know the concepts, right? So how it was, ma'am, we have to learn what. See, this is the reason I always open up the things which will be available to you in your examination, so that you know, okay, what to go ahead and what not to go ahead with. Okay, in case if the question comes. So it is something which is very common, right? Very common means it is to be calculated in each and every questions. So what I have to do it, I have to take up a session, I have to take the call, I have to open up the ACCA thing which will be given, the following text rate will be given in your question to be answered. So if you see the personal allowances, over here it will be given, over here it will be given that the personal allowances are 12,570 pounds. Cool, simple. It will be adjusted with ANI, adjusted net income of 125 140, and restricted to 1 lakh. Otherwise the PA, if more than 125, it will be 0. Okay, by using this rate, let me just, okay, I'll not disclose, I'll open it up, I'll keep it at a side, and we'll be going ahead with the question. Yeah, okay, okay, just give me a minute now. Okay, chalo. So without any further delay, let's just read the question and try to analyze it. Okay, so this is what we have understood it. So what they have given about the three peoples. Okay, let's say for example, the adjusted net income of three individuals is 60, 110 and 127. Now what will be their taxable things? So okay, what I will write, I will try to develop the answer how it comes and how you are supposed to write in your examination. Okay, I'm very sorry, you have to bear me. Okay, you have to bear me. Okay, first the total taxable income will be what? The taxable income between three person, right? Let's say 1, 2 and 3. Over here it turns around to be first 60, 110, so 60k, 1 lakh 10, and the other one was 127. Okay. I'm so sorry guys, I'm literally very sorry. Okay. Okay. So if you can just see it, over here, the personal allowances is restricted to what? If you see, the personal allowance is restricted to, if your income is lesser than 1 lakh, you get a PA of how much? If my personal allowances is less than 1 lakh, I get a person. If my income is less than 1 lakh, I'll get a PA of full 125. 1 to 570. Okay, so don't you think over here my income is less, so can I get 12,570 full? Yeah. If I get this much 12,570 full, then what do you think, what will be my tax rate, what will be my taxable income? So in the first case, my taxable income will be how much? My taxable income turns around, please just calculate it, will you get 47,430? Yeah. What about in the second question? Okay. For second, I will just write a working note too, where I will see where your salary or where your incomes is 110. So we have a restrictions. Restricted to what? It's restricted to 1 lakh. So it's restricted to 1 lakh. So till 1 lakh only it's restricted. So if I'm getting a personal allowance, what it will be? You get the difference. Once I get the difference, I have to do 50% of that. So 10,000. So 10,000 is in excess. So if 10,000 the valuation is in excess, so I get a disallowances. How much? So it will be disallowed. My personal allowances will be disallowed. So how much PA will be disallowed? Disallowed how much? Excess into 50%. That comes to 5,000 pounds will be disallowed. So can you say how much will be then allowed? Okay, if you then see how much is allowed, so you will see then how much will be allowed. Total it was, my PA was 12,570 personal allowance minus disallowance. If you do you get something around 7570? Yeah, so that much is allowed in your second question. Okay, so if that much is allowed, 7570, please quote that much in your personal allowances. That will be over here, 7570. So if you just quote it, you get the income, the taxable income for the second person also as 102,430. But when your income or whenever your income or any income, like whatever it is, if it goes beyond 125, 140, you get 0 personal allowances. Means no personal allowances, you will get it. If you get no personal allowance, it's over here nil. So your income will be 127,000 only. So is it enough? Is it understandable? Is it something which is cool? Yes. I hope it's clear. It's pretty clear. Yes. Chalo. I hope there is no doubt for the first question. So yeah, we just managed to calculate our personal allowances. It was simple. Yeah, it was simple. Up next, we have a good concept which will be helping us to understand about the saving rates. Okay. So when I say about 0% savings and all, so we have one concept that I will go through it first and then only we'll be doing the question. Okay. See, in case if you can read this, guys, it's very important to know that. Please try to understand, huh? See, normally my basic rates is, if I'm having so much of income, yeah, in the slabs, in the bands, okay, in the bands, 1 to 37,700, 3701 to 150 and 150 over above. Okay, so 20, 40, 45% will be there as a normal tax rate. But what if in that, if I am earning a savings income also, like bank interest? And today we know, students, if you haven't watched, kindly do watch. We have income which is bifurcated in 3 parts. NSSD, what's that? Non-saving, saving and dividend. Okay, so we have to bifurcate. Non-saving means over there I have put up all my efforts and worked very hard to earn that income. Savings means I was having money, I just put somewhere and I'm getting the bank interest. Last over here, dividend means I have invested some money somewhere and I'm getting a part of return. So true? Yeah, it's that simple. It's that simple. Okay, so if it is that simple, yeah, I'm going to earn that. So ma'am, what are the taxable rates on which I have to apply? So yeah, for that, guys, a very good news. You don't have to memorize these things, but at least you should have your brains from where I have to interpret things. So in case, if I am having a saving income, yeah, which is something as £1,000, so it's exempt. It's exempt, means you don't have to pay taxes. It's a nil rate. If you are a basic rate taxpayer, means your income comes between this. If your income comes between these slab, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah. If your income comes between these slab, okay, yeah, if your income comes between these slab and you are earning this much as a dividend, it is exempt. But beyond that, then you have to apply the normal tax rates. Getting it? Then you have to apply the normal tax rates. But what if I'm saying you, I'm just changing 3 words. But if you're a higher rate taxpayer, means if your income comes between these slab, okay, and if you're earning more than something like more than £500, then you have to pay taxes on the slab. But prior to that, if you're earning only a saving income of £500, it is totally exempt. It is exempt. Means it's okay, it's acceptable. You don't have to pay taxes on that. But there is a twist which people always forget. So they will know this. Most of the students will know this, but most of the students will not know this. a starting rate of 0% applies to the saving income where it falls within the first 5,000 of the taxable income. Means we have a question for this. Means guys, if my total basic earnings, if my basic earnings are also something like 5,000 se come or lesser than 5,000, then to it is 0%. That I'll explain you how it will go. I'll explain you that. So that becomes the first priority. And then if I'm having a dividend, okay, if I'm having a dividend, so dividend is what, guys? I know, okay, dividend over here. If I'm having any sort of dividend and the dividend is 2,000, so initial 2,000, it is initial 2,000 of dividend is exempt. Beyond that, as per the slab rates, these are my rates which I have to apply on the dividend. Okay, clear? Please use this table as a reference because it is going to be very, very, very useful. Okay. Now we'll go ahead with the question which is being presented over here. Yeah, chalo. We'll just read the question and we'll try to interpret what the answers should be. Okay. First, the Jean's income for the year ended for 20 to 23 is as follows. So Jean is getting a income of what? Maybe is getting some state pension. Okay, is getting a pension of 6,587. Cool. So we will take this as an income from where? Is his income whatever he got, is it from his savings account or non-savings? Ma'am, if he is getting pension, he would have worked hard, so it is his non-saving income. Okay, then he's getting some private pension. Cool. On which TDS is not deducted, that is pay is not deducted. Over here 597 pay is deducted. That means already tax has been deducted and has been deposited to government. So at the time when I calculate my liabilities, I will not take this much of tax. I will presume that already I have paid this amount of tax, so why will I pay more? So I can adjust it accordingly. Okay, super. Yes. So if you see the private pension, this much is already deducted. So out of 8,400, we have to understand. But prior to that, tell me now, this income, is it their savings income or non-savings? Ma'am, it's also the non-savings because they would have worked very hard for that. Acha, we have a saving interest. Cool. Now that is my saving income. Yeah. Now they have told, please calculate the Jean's income tax payable for the current year. Okay. If I'm just booking it as such, what will be my tax rates? So students, please you can take the picture of the question if you want. I'm going to solve the question. And this question turns around to be important because right now you will not understand what are the implications. Why is it getting important? But then you will analyze when I explain you this word 0% starting rate on savings. Okay, so yeah, let's just start doing the solution. Yeah, we'll just do the solutions where we have to bifurcate normally into NS, S and D, but we don't have dividends, so I'm writing no dividends right now, but maybe I need to take up the, so total, maybe I can just write it. So total is what we normally present it. Okay, so I'll just write it up over here, the total value. Cool. Okay. So what was the first income? If you remember guys, they were having an income of pension state on which no tax was deducted. 6,587. Remember? Yeah. Was it 6,587? Yeah. So state pension. I'll just write it. State pension. 6,587. 6,587. Yeah, what was the other income they were having? So private pension of 8,400. Okay, so let me write it private pension for 8,400. So it's private pension for 8,400. Then you remember we were having a saving income also, that bank interest. So what was the bank's interest? We got it, if you remember, it was something around 4,800. So we'll write it over here, 4,800. So if I take up the total, I'll get the equivalent amount of how much? So if you want to write it 6,587, 8,400 and 4,800. Please take up the total. Yeah, when I take up the total over here, it turns around to be 14,987, 4,800, and over here it is going to be 19,787. Okay. Now, should I pay taxes on this or do I have any sort of exemptions or allowances? Please don't forget we have personal allowances. If your income, which income? Yes, your total income. So over here my total income is lesser than 1 lakh, so I have to pay one. But this personal allowance is deducted from your non-savings first. So like non-savings, first of all what I'll do, I'll less my personal allowance. I'll reduce my personal allowance of 12,570, which now I don't think that I need to show you, and I'll get the remaining balance. So what's my remaining balance, guys, on which I have to pay taxes? So maybe if you see, my remaining balance of the taxable income comes to be taxable income. I wanted to make it with blue color so that it is easily visible. Okay, my taxable income comes around to be 2417 and 4800. Oh. So that means your income is less. Okay, can you see this? Only 2417, 4800 savings and other. So there was a hint to your basic income. More than 5000 only you go to the rate. Initially you remember that first, whatever this income is you guys are getting it income, if your basics are lesser than 5000 you get that 0% tax. Yeah. So now it's my responsibility to first of all calculate the incomes. So as non-saving income over here, I'll just write this as my non-saving income. My non-saving income is not exceeding 5000. So what I'll get a 0% exemption, right? So how much savings I will get it? Are Baba, 5000 minus 2417. I'm getting some excess amount. How much excess? 5000 minus 2417. Am I getting excess of 2583? Yeah. So that much amount of your savings means of your these income savings ka part, it will be exempt. It will be like a zero rated tax. Okay, will be taxed at the rate of 0%. I hope you guys are getting it what I mean to say. Yes, we have learned this concept prior, or if you don't know, I am requesting you guys to please check the videos which I have taken it in the September session. Yeah. Cool. Chalo. Now it's the time where we have to show about the tax liabilities. Okay, just we need to book it, the tax liability. Okay, so to understand the tax liability, first of all we will just write whatever the total incomes are. Let's say my taxable total income. Okay, before I go to the tax liability, let me just write the incomes. Let's say my income from non-saving, savings and total was it okay? If you write, don't write, it's okay, but you write it, it looks better. 2417, yeah, and it was 4800. So my income turns around to be 7217. Yeah. So what is my tax liability? I'll just reduce it and show it over here. So we know my NS, my non-saving, is lesser than 5000. So if it's lesser than 5000, so you know the basic bands. You remember my basic tax rate is what? From £1 to 37,700, you get to pay 20% tax rate. Okay, so initially it is falling under what? This 2417. So in income tax, my non-savings first slab of 2417 falls under 20%. But to make it 5000, there is something which is remaining. Yeah, what's remaining? So you know, ma'am, 2483 was remaining. So that can be adjusted from a savings income at the rate of 0%. Getting it? Yes. So if it's so, what is my tax liability? So over here, my tax liability over here, if you just add it or multiply it, you'll get some 483, and over here it will be 0. Now this stuff is done. Now what about this 4800? Oh, ma'am, 4800 also I have to check, isn't it? Yeah. So what about 4800? Should it be taxed? But you remember, if you are having a savings income and if you come under first slab, yeah, for savings, I'm just talking about savings. Okay, can I do one thing? Can I make it very small? Yeah, I'll just make it very small. So by now you know na, so I've just taken it up that way. Okay, now let's go ahead with the savings income. About the savings income, I am having a total savings of 4800, out of which, if you can check, out of which 2483 is taxed at the rate of 0%. If I am a basic rate taxpayer, I get £1,000, you have to pay nil rate. So what's the remaining? Please check. 4800 minus 2483 minus 1000. Are you getting something around wait 1712 or what? Wait. Okay, 4800 minus 2483 minus 1000. Am I getting 1317? It should be 1217 prior to that. I made a mistake or what? 2417. 1 minute, huh? Oh yeah, I made a mistake, guys. You would have told me, ma'am, your calculations are wrong. Over here, it is 2417 minus 5000. Hey, it's not 2483, guys. It's my bad. It's not 2483, bye. It's 2583. It's 2583. That comes to 5000. So over here, it is not 2483. It's basically 2583. Yes, I was wondering whether I made any mistakes or not. So yeah, I'm getting up a difference of how much? Yes, guys, I'm getting up a difference of 1217, and that is your saving income on which you have to pay the basic rate tax, means 20%. So what is my tax liability over here also? It's 243. So 243. So if you check, your maximum liability is 483 and 243. So if you just take up a total, my tax liability is how much? What's my tax liability? If you just take up a tax liability, guys, my tax liability is nothing other than 483 plus 243, which I just take it up total. I am getting a exact amount of 726, right? 726. But you remember, you have made a PAYE, pay as you earn. You have already paid up a tax of how much, ma'am? 597. 597. Okay, 597. It's 597. You have already made a payment. So now your remaining liability is how much? So now in your income tax payable goes to how much? My payable is how much? Pounds. Do calculation. Am I getting 129? So yes, now this becomes your liability which you have to work at. I hope you're getting it. Yes. Are we going slowly? Yeah. Are you understanding it? Yes. Paka. Okay. Then I'm pretty cool. Okay. So with this, we have completed the two important questions. So I really hope you guys would have understood it. Yeah, we are not going fast just because I want you all to understand it. Rather than rushing, it's better to understand the concepts thoroughly. Yes. So we also completed 0% starting rate of the savings. Yeah, so we just did the question, which was pretty easy and something which was manageable too. But just imagine if you haven't touched that 0% stuff now, initial 5000. If this things comes in your examination, maybe you will not be in the position to solve this. But I hope you're getting it. And yeah, I had the medicine and I think like the medicine was working for me. The medicine is working well for me. Okay. And we know we have a questions, and the important questions are known as activities. So if you would have seen the ACCA study resources, and if you're studying from that, you will be having an idea that we have activities on which we are supposed to solve the questions. So activities are very relevant when you're going to study these topics. So yeah, let's not waste time and start with some activities. So for the first activity is basically about income tax payable. Okay, income tax payable. So they have asked to calculate the income tax payable. So Angel had the following incomes for the following years. Employment income means, ma'am, it's my non-saving income on which I'm working very hard. Saving income, ma'am, it's my saving income, and dividend income is my dividend income. Cool, I'm having a total income. If you make up a total, you will get some amount. Okay. Tax of 7486 was deducted, means this much of TDS is already been deducted. So you find out your liability, deduct this much, and whatever is excess that you have to pay becomes your tax payable. But in case if you have paid something extra in your TDS with the name of TDS, you get the excess amount as a refundable stuff. Okay, cool. This much was deducted at source from 48,000 of the employment. Okay, from this employment, my PAY, like my TDS, my tax deducted at source was deducted of 7486. Okay, cool. So they have given, I have just formulated it. What they have asked us? They have asked us required. What required? Calculate the income tax payable for the next year. Okay, we will formulate it, next year's income tax. So again, whatever I'm telling you, please take into note. This is the way you are supposed to present your answer. Otherwise, you don't get so much good marks. Okay. So yeah, without having any further delay, let's just start with the solution. And students, like whenever I'm telling you, try to like do the answers very well. Like take your time, think, and then only we'll just go ahead. Just give me 1 minute. I was just wondering it out for the thing where I have saved it. Yeah. Okay. We'll take it very slowly. Okay, we'll take it very slowly. Okay. First, what is that? My employment income. What's that? My employment income. Okay, I'll just try to formulate the solution. Yeah, so you have to develop the solution that way. Okay, ma'am, my non-savings, my savings, my dividend. First, ma'am, my employment income was how much? Employment income, I was getting it something around 48,000, 5,000 and 4,000. 48, 5 and 4. Okay, 48, 5 and 4. So over here it was my bank interest, something savings, like savings, and over here I was having some dividend. So if you want, guys, you can have a total also 48, 5 and 4. So if you take up a total, it will be 48,000, 5,000 and 4,000. So your final total comes up to be 57k. Yeah. So students, this much though anyone can do. And guys, just for making the format, just for making the pro forma that we have in your income tax, guys, you get marks. So please don't think, yeah, it's ma'am waste. No, it's not waste. You get marks. So whatever fetches you marks, it's important. It's important. So that cannot be considered as waste for sure. Yeah. So we'll be having like cool. No further delay. No further delay. Now, is it your total income, ma'am? From your total income, ma'am, you have some known as like personal allowances. So yeah, ma'am, please deduct personal allowances, which will be 12,570. If I deduct my personal allowances, what am I left with? Then you are left, and that is known as taxable income. Please understand this, the word taxable income. So what is my taxable income on which I have to pay taxes? So if you see 35, please calculate 430, 5,000 and 4,000. So if you take up the total, I'm getting something around over here also 12,570. If I have to deduct it, I'll get 430. Now comes the important topic, which is known as tax. You have to pay taxes. So now, please keep these things in mind. This is your total income. Yeah. And you remember what is the first slab? Just a minute. Yeah, what's the first slab? So ma'am, my first band comes from 1 to 37,700. That you have to pay 20%. Tell me, are you a basic taxpayer? Why no? How much is your income? Is it more than this band? Yes, ma'am. My total income is 4,430. Ma'am, it's more. It's more than 37,700 for sure. So you are not a basic taxpayer. You are a higher taxpayer. So maybe there is some difference in your savings also. So if it is so, I'll just show you for once. Yeah. If it is so, can you see this? I've just deleted all the stuffs right now. So in the savings income, if you have any savings income, are you basic rate taxpayer? No, ma'am. So you're higher rate taxpayer. So for initial 500 pounds, you get a 0% tax, and rate later on whatever other rates. Okay. So we have to consider that. Yeah. So yeah, let's consider that, and we'll just try to solve the question. So first, what I have to divide it, ma'am? First of all, see your income. Okay, ma'am. This becomes my first income. So first, for 35,430, please pay 20% tax. Okay. Because you want to complete slab, first slab, huh? First slab of how much? 37,700. Okay. So you want to complete the first slab of 37,700. So what all things comes over here? So this is done and dusted. Yes, ma'am. This is done and dusted. Ma'am, this out of 5,000, na, first 500 will be exempt. First 500, because it is a higher taxpayer. So initial 500 is like exempt, 0%. So what is remaining to complete in the slab? Do it. 37,700 minus 35,430 minus 500. Is it 1770? Yeah. So even 1770 over here, both of this will be the savings. Okay, savings. It will be coming how much? Now whatever is the first slab pending. So yeah, we take 20%. So now when I take up the total tax, it will be how much? In the first rate, 7086. Over here it will be 0, and over here it will be 354. So can you tell me how much of the savings income you have allotted a tax for? So you will say, ma'am, out of 5,000, out of the, see, my non-saving, savings and dividend. My non-saving income is dusted. From your saving income of 5,000 and your dividend of 4,000, fine. Out of this 5,000, initial 500 pounds were exempt. in the first slab, in the first band, how much I paid a tax for? 1770, if you remember. Was it 1770? Yeah, ma'am. 1770. Okay. From 5000, it was like 1770. So, what's the pending amount? Yeah, ma'am. Please do it. 1770 plus 500 minus 5000. Are you getting 2730? Yeah, ma'am. So, this 2730, now you have to pay at a higher rate. Okay. So, what's that? Now, this 2730 comes in the second band. So, it is from 37,700 to 150. So, it comes at the rate of what? 40%. Yeah. So, this is what nothing we know it about the saving interest. Yeah, this is what we know about savings. Yes? Okay. Then guys, we have something which is known as dividend also. For dividend, always, initial 2000 is exempt, right? For 2000 pounds, it's 0%. For remaining 2000 pounds, which slab are we coming? Are we coming in the first band or second band? Ma'am, we are coming in the second band. So if we are coming in the second band, the rates are first 8.75, ma'am, 33.7. Yes, if you don't remember, have a view, have an eye on that, have an eye on that. Are we coming in the second band? So yeah, ma'am, it's not 8.75, it's not 939, it's 37.75. Getting it? Yes. Is it 37.75? Yes. Is it 37.75? Yes. So we'll just touch it that way. So over here, for next 2000, I have to book how much? 33.75%. So now if you take up the total of the taxes, you can just mention it as a tax of how much it will be. 2730 into, yeah. So it's 2730 into 40% over here. 2730 into 40%. So I'll just write it over here. For savings, it is 2730 into 40%. And for dividend, I have to pay taxes on 2000 into how much? 2000 into 33.75%. If you take up a total, I am having a tax of 1092 pounds and over here it's 675. So if you now take up a total of total taxes, my total taxes are how much over here? Did you got something around, I will make the total taxes with green color. 7086, 354, yes, 1092 and 675. So when you take up a total taxes, your total tax here, your total tax liability was how much? You take up a total, guys. It's 7086 plus it was 354 plus it was 1092 plus 675, which comes up to be 9207. So should I pay the taxes on this? You'll say, ma'am, no, I don't have to pay taxes because any which ways some of the thing is deducted in the name of TDS. Yes. So 7486 is already deducted. So what I will do it, guys, I will just deduct something which is known as a taxable deduction. So if I do that, I'll get the amount. So out of which my less PAYE is how much? 7486. So now my liability turns around to be this much, and that's all. So tax liability payable is how much? 1721. I hope you guys got it very clear. I tried making it easy, and I really want you guys to practice in the way I'm doing it so that you will never make any mistakes. Try to cut short things because now this is something which is very common because it will obviously going to be come in your examination. Like if it is any question from your income tax, they would want you to calculate taxation. So if they want you to calculate taxes, you are supposed to calculate the way it is. Agreed? Yes? Clear? Superb. Okay. Up next, there is another question for getting some reliefs. So what's this relief? Yeah. So some of the people who take up the loan, they know there is a concept which is known as relief, that they have to get it. Okay. So they have to book the reliefs also. So if they have to book the relief, let's see what they have given up in the question. Is it very easy or is it something which is difficult? Let's just understand it. Okay. Relief for qualifying loan interest. Okay. So they have given up. Alice is a partner in the partnership. Okay. So there is basically a partnership and there is a partner. She had the following incomes for the current year 2022-23. Okay. share in the partnership, so she is getting a income of 54,400, and that is again her non-saving income because she hasn't made any savings. So she's working for that, she is getting an income. Cool. Then she is having a saving income, that is bank interest. Okay, so what if I tell you just make up a total? Yeah, we can make up, but you remember one thing, if I'm having any point of qualifying interest, means that much is something an allowable expense that I'm getting it. Yeah, so with that, don't you think my income will be reduced? Yes, if I'm having any qualifying interest, with that my non-saving income is getting reduced. So if you see, during the current year 22-23, my allies paid £2,000 on the interest of the loan taken out of 2015 to finance her contribution. Okay. So she has taken up a loan and she has paid such much of interest. If she has paid an interest on the qualifying loan, she can get that much as an allowances, as an expenditures allowances as a qualifying loan. She can get a relief. If she is getting a relief, her tax liability will be reduced. So considering that into overview, let's just formulate the answer. Yeah, first of all, I'll just rush up fast for the things which you already know, so I will not take more of time. So yeah, again, I'm not taking up the total non-saving, saving. Is there any sort of dividend? So yeah, you'll take, ma'am, it's no dividend, so yeah, let's take the total. So she was having some employment income, like the trading income, the trading profits. Let's say the trading profits was given. How much profit she was having? 54,500. She was having some bank interest also, so she's having some bank interest, and that was 1,000. So if you take 54,500 and 1,000, am I getting around the total of 54,500, 1,000 and 55,500? Yeah. But if you remember, she was also getting some qualifying loan interest. Yeah, so please reduce that qualifying interest on that loan, which was 2,000 from your savings, sorry, from your non-savings, 2,000. So I just deducted it. Am I getting an amount of net income now? Now this is your net income on which you have to like pay the taxes for. So it comes to nearly 52,500. Yeah. So ma'am, should I pay on this income, or like am I having any sort of other allowances also? Guys, you cannot forget PA. Personal allowance will always be there. So without personal allowances, it will not work. Okay, minus PA. Initial, ma'am, 12,570. Get the difference? Yeah, it is coming upon 39,930, 1,000. Are you getting 4930? So this is your taxable income. In that you have to pay the taxes. If you have to pay the taxes, now I will make it very easy, the way I do it in my class. My students knows this. Yeah, I take this first slab, I will bifurcate. The first slab was 37,700. What's the remaining slab? Ma'am, please minus 39930 minus 37,700. So ma'am, it comes to 2230. Okay. So this is to be multiplied with 20%. This is to be multiplied with 40%. And the 1,000. Out of this 1,000, which is savings, we know, ma'am, he's coming now, that girl or whatever Alice is coming into the second slab. If she's coming under the second slab, initial her £500 will be exempt at the rate of 0, and remaining 500 will be taxed at the rate of 40%. So please get up a total and give me the tax liability. What if I just make it small? Yeah, what is my tax liability? If I'm seeing my tax liability over here, initially 37 into 20% over here. 37 into 20%. I have all the sort of ideas to be calculated. 7,540 over here. It will be 892. It will be 500 into 0, it's 0. 500 into 40%, it comes to 200. So when you take up a total, it is 8,632 pounds. Are you getting it? Yes. This is your solution, and this is the way you have to write the answers. I hope there is no doubt in the questions. Yeah. So we have successfully managed to do a lot of questions, which are again very worthwhile. I hope it's very clear. Pretty sure. Yes. Chalo. Now, without having any further delay, I have just kept some space, but I don't need the space now. Yeah, for sure, because it was manageable and we could make it very easily achievable. Now, we are having some taxation on civil partners also. but that is fine. I'll just try to do that questions also for civil partners. But okay, before I go ahead, tell me, okay, are the questions manageable? If you guys are able to manage this type of questions, that means a clear-cut situation that you have understood the concept which is known as TIGs, like the computation of tax. If not, a humble request, okay, please do watch the video again. Please do watch the first video again so that you will be at a streamlined place to solve the questions. Okay. So yeah, without having any further delay, let's just start with this question, and maybe after this question we can take up a break of 5 minutes and we'll resume it back. Yeah, so without having any delay, let's just understand about the taxation of civil partners. Okay, so there are two people, Oliver and Pedro. So there are two partners which are the civil partners. So you know what is the meaning of civil partner. So I told you, in India we just have a marriage, but there is a ship. That is a relationship. Basically it's something like a living relationship. When they enter into partnership, something like spouse and all, they have to just be as such. Okay, so that's a good culture. So Olive and Pedro are the civil partners. So Oliver is also having some income, Pedro is also having some income. In the current year 22-23, the employment income is 31,000. Oliver is getting, and Pedro is getting 13,500. Property income is 20, saving income is 500, and dividend is 5,000. So if I'm just able to see this, okay, if you see, students, I am not copying this scenario again and writing it down. What if I say you over here only will start doing the solution? If I take up a total, what is my total income? What's my total income? So if I just go ahead, Pedro, if you take up the total income of Oliver, the total income of Oliver, is it 51 and 4? Is it 55k? Yeah, ma'am, it's 55,000. Is it 55,000? Yeah. But what about Pedro? 13,500 and 500, 40,000. 40,000 plus 5. Is it 19? Yeah. He's getting 9. She is getting 19,000. So both are individuals. If both are individuals, are they both not liable towards getting the PA personal allowances? Yes. If both are in the position to get the personal allowances, why not to give them? Okay. So I'll just write it over here, Oliver and Pedro. I have not taken up the total. I'm not writing everything. Okay, Oliver and Pedro, because we don't have so much of time to like copy and things again and again. Just write it. So I'll just write a total income. What Oliver was there was 55,000, and what Pedro got was 19k. Okay, both of them are having the personal allowances, and both are having an individual PA of 2570, 12,570. Till here, I don't think like nobody will be having any sort of doubts. We are very much sorted till here. Yeah. So what do we get? We get a taxable income. We get a taxable income. What is the taxable income? 42,430, and over here I'm getting nearly 6,430. Individually it's done and dusted. But now there is an income tax which I have to pay. How much income tax I'll pay? First of all, so you just need to cope up over here. That is 20% and 40%. So if you just check the scenario over here, first just calculate now 37,700, and prior to that, what are the total incomes that individual is having? So it's the employment income, property income. Okay, employment income, property income, and 4,000 was savings income. Acha, 4,000 is saving income. So from these, 4,000 is saving income. So I can just cancel it over here. Non-saving and saving. So 4,000 is savings, and the remaining you have to book it for 4,430 minus 4,000. Is it not 38,430? Acha, ma'am. Now definitely that person is under the higher tax rate. Yeah, higher slab. Yeah, that is visible. That is evident. Then it's quite visible. Yeah, that is something which I can see it. Okay. Now, what is the tax which I have to pay? From this also, ma'am, initially for this non-savings, 37,700, you have to pay 20% tax, and the remaining 40%. How much 40 minus 37,700? Is it on 730 you have to pay 40% tax? On the savings also, guys, how much will I pay? Okay. On the savings of 4,000, initially 500, higher tax 0%. Ma'am, on 3,500 it's 40%. Yes or no? Yes or no? But this is only for your Oliver. Oliver ke liye hi I am calculating it. I am only calculating this stuff for the Oliver. That's all. Okay. Oliver, if you see the tax rates, yeah, the liability 37,200 into 20 percentage. Are you getting something around 186? Yeah, 186. Yeah, 730 into 40 percentage. Oh, sorry. My bad. From where it will be 186, ma'am? What are you saying? Yeah, I need to do in my calcs. 37,700 into 20 percentage. You have to learn it, huh? 7540. 7540 plus 730 into 40 percentage. It comes to 292. Okay. Plus 500 into 0, it's 0. 3500 into 40 percentage comes up to be 1400. So guys, if I just check the total of my taxation, am I getting 9232? Yes. So if I take this totals, 7540, 292 and 1400 over here, I just need to add one more thing, that is 1400. Am I getting up a total of 9232? Yes, it's 9232, the tax of Oliver. Now what if I'm talking about my other Pedro? That's about Pedro. Now we'll go down. Let's say I'm going about with the Pedro. Okay, Pedro is also having some income. Let's say the Pedro's income, total income, I'm just writing that total income. Total income she was having was 19,000, and out of which she had paid a personal allowances of 12,570. So in short, she was having up a taxable income of how much? Yeah, she was having a taxable income of 6430. But you remember what was the bifurcation she was also having it? So over here now, Pedro, she was having an employment income of 13,500. Oh, saving income of only 500. Dividend of 5,000. Okay. So students, is she coming under the first band or second band? So you'll say, okay, ma'am, she is coming under the first band. If she is coming under the first band, she would have got a dividend of 1,000. If she would have got a dividend of 1,000, that was still, that though she was having an exempt. Instead of that, she only got 500. Maybe relation, can they adjust? Let's see. Can there be any sort of savings? Yes or no? It's okay. So yeah, I'll just bifurcate it. 13,500 she is having it. Okay, 13,500, 500 and 1,000. Okay, 13,500, 500 and how much it is? 13,500, 500 and 5,000. 13,500 employment, 13,500 savings, 500 and 5,000 is for dividend. Okay. So for dividend, I don't have any tension. Okay, dividend, like hell, whatever it is, and she is coming under which slab? First band. Yeah. So for dividend, we know, okay, initial 2,000 exempt. For remaining, you have to go with the band. So if it is a clear-cut situation, she is coming in the first band, so the rate was 8.75. Yeah, like that way you do it now, you never get confused. 8.75. But what about these employment income? So if you see, ma'am, employment income, okay, it was given, but what was your tax, guys? What was your tax? Out of this 6430, you have to bifurcate. 5,000 is for dividend, 500 is for savings. What's the remaining stuff? Yeah, so if you check, yeah, please check it. 5,000 minus 500 minus 6430. Are you just getting 1930? Yeah, but I have one more thing to be told. Okay, it's 6430. Yeah. Yeah, so now tell me now, what is the remaining stuff? Yeah, so 6430 minus 5,000 minus 500. So you will say, okay, ma'am, I am left over with only 930 for your non-savings. Yes. So on your non-savings, what is your tax? If I am in the first slab, ma'am, I have to pay only 20% tax. Savings will be 0%, and over here 2,000 0, 3,000, ma'am, first band of 8.75. So pay the taxes, make the stuff done. Okay, we'll just make the stuff done. Do it. Yeah. So 930 into 20% comes to 186. 500 into 0, 0, 2,000 into 0, 0, 3,000 into 8.75, it's 263. So if I make a total, my tax liability will be 449 pounds only. So that shows over here when you were eligible to take a savings of 1000, you only ended up till taking 500 savings only. So is there any tax plannings can be done? So if you take the total tax liability is how much? So as they are a civil partner, so their total combined liability over here. So Oliver's, I don't know, over here it's 449. Yeah, this is what I just show it right now, so I just booked it. So what was his liability? If you check, Oliver's liability was how much? Oh, so Oliver was getting up a liability of 93 something, right? Yeah, is it 9232? Yeah, so it's 9232. Okay, so it's huge. 9232 and 449. Oh my god. So their combined liability is how much, guys? So if you check, the combined liability turns around to be 9681, isn't it? Yeah, ma'am, 9681. It's huge. The combined liability is huge. Now what to be done, guys? Now what to be done? We have to think about any plannings out. Oh. Go ahead with the plannings. Are you guys getting any sort of plannings? Can I do any plannings? Tax plannings? This is what I explained you. So Pedro is entitled to get how much? If you see the Pedro, not that one. Pedro can get 1000. Till 1000 savings she can get a benefit, isn't it? But now what happened, guys? Now what happened? She has to, any which ways she has to pay, the other person has to pay more tax. So can they just transfer it? Yes. So Pedro is entitled to a savings at the rate of nil rate, at the rate of 1000. So if you can just see this wordings, I'll just paste things for you guys. While I'm not writing the things for you. Okay, just give me a minute. I don't know whether it has been visible to you guys or not. Yeah, are you able to see? I've just opened up the notes which is there in your ACCA study hub. Yeah. Okay, are you able to see this? Yeah. Okay. Then maybe I don't know whether, yeah, it is visible. Yeah. Till here, if you can see, yeah, from this chapter number 3. Okay, chapter number 3 I don't want. Can you please read it? So I'm not writing up the theory. So text planning, what happens? The Pedro, my person like Pedro, over here, she was having an income of savings. She can have 1000. Till 1000 she can have nil rated. But she had only how much? She had only 500, right? She had only 500. So till 1000 she can get. But she is currently having only 500. So don't you think when Oliver is only entitled to get 500? Because Oliver, you just saw the first person, Oliver, his total income was more than the first man. So in the savings, he only got the benefit of 500. So next he has to pay 40%. Don't you think? If things were changed, he would have saved 20% tax. Yes. 40% tax he would have saved for 500. Because there she would have got nil. So for 500, there would have been a savings of 500 into 40%. Why? If Pedro would have got 1000, 500 would have been reduced from whom? 500 would have been reduced from Oliver. So on that, any which ways she was not able to pay taxes, but now Oliver has paid 40% tax. So that could be the tax savings which they did it. So if they did it, that would have been better, isn't it? So yeah, there is a savings. So over here, they would have also did some transfer of dividends. For example, if you can analyze it from Pedro to Oliver. Why? Pedro is having more dividend, I think. Okay, Pedro is having 5000 dividend. Oh my god. Initially, both of them can get na 2000 and 2000. They can get na dividend free. Yeah, they can get 2000 exempt. So why she is only keeping 5000? Give them 2000. Only pay to the 1000. So yeah, she can have a benefit of 2000 into 8.75%. She would have got the benefits. So she would have even saved this much in the name of dividends. because for 2000 she had made an extra tax payment of how much? 8.75 percentage. If she would have transferred to the other person, she would have saved so much. So this is what you guys getting it. Did you got it? Yes or no? I am so pretty sure that you would have understood this question very, very, very well. Yeah. So there's another question, but before I go ahead, let us just take a break of 5 minutes, and yeah, we'll be resuming it back with the next question about the finance cost restrictions. Okay, so yeah, just take a break of 10 minutes and we'll be back soon. So yes students, let's resume back with the further questions. Yeah, just give me a minute. Okay, so yeah, let's do some important questions ahead. Yeah, which talks about finance cost restrictions. So can there be certain restrictions which can be allotted to an individual? So yeah, let's just read it and understand what they have asked us in the question. Joseph has purchased some buy to let residential property. What's the meaning of buy to let? Means he has bought a residential property which he wanted to let it. Let it means maybe just a minute. Just a minute, huh? Example, I just wanted to check it. Yeah, it's an example one, so yeah, we'll get it. Joseph has purchased some let out. Buy to let. Buy to let means he has bought a residential property to let it out. Let it out means he want to give it on rental basis. Okay, there's a property which he bought it just for the purpose of let me rent it out that way and earn the rentals. Maybe that could be his situation, which provides an annual rental income of £20,000. So okay, if you can see, there is an annual income the individual is getting of £20,000. Okay, so I'm getting an annual rental income of £20,000. Cool. And with that associated finance cost was 12,000. So now at the time things comes, like for example, if I'm getting some rentals, I would have taken up a loan for that maybe. So I need to repay them the loan, or maybe whatever, there could be a finance cost related to that asset. So that comes around to be 12,000 K. Okay. And other allowable cost at £4,000. Cool. Joseph over here, the individual, has also trading income of 40. Okay, so when I see Joseph is having two incomes. First, annual rent income, plus he is having some employment income. Employment means the trading income. So trading income is 40K and this is 20. So can I pay taxes on 60K? So you'll say, ma'am, are you mad? Why to pay on 60K? He's getting some exemptions. Exemptions in the nature of what, guys? In the nature of what? So he has told, okay, my trading income is 40K. My property income, I'm getting a rent of 20. Allowable interest is 0. And other expenses of 4, I'm getting it. So basically I'm getting 40,000 plus 16. So I'm getting 56,000, on which I can get a personal allowance of 12,570. Till here I don't think like anybody will be having any sort of doubts. Yeah. But then you should understand this, that 12,000 is not an allowable expense. So my tax liability is 430, out of which we know 37,700 is 20% and remaining. Yes, remaining amount is 5730 at the rate of 40%. So ma'am, this is done, ma'am. Now what are you asking? Yes, now this is important. You get a tax of 9832. Then till here nobody will be having any doubts. But if you haven't studied these topics, you don't need to know finance cost. Over here we get a reducer of 20%. Yes guys, we get a benefit of 20%. So that much tax you are not supposed to pay. For that, for rental purposes, if you have incurred any finance cost, you get an exemption of 20% of whatever interest you have paid. So how much I have paid? Guys, we have paid up a 12,000 and 20% of that means 2,400. I am not supposed to pay the taxes. So by the end, I have to only pay the taxes of 7,432. Getting it? Yes. So over here, they have been analyzed. They have been told that it's a situation that you are not supposed to deduct this allowable interest over here. Please don't deduct 12K. Rather at the end, whenever you are finding it out, the liability, yeah, tax liability, 20% of whatever you have paid, you get a reduction, you get a relief. Yes, understood? Yes, that's all the concept of this. First part is, so I'm taking up as much questions as I can take. Okay, there's another question, question number 2, which is basically from your house property income, property tax. That Roger, there's a person, Roger has let out a spare room. Okay, he was having a spare room in his main residential to his lodger. Okay, Petra. So Roger has let a spare room to his main resident to his lodger. Okay, so Roger has let it out to Petra. During the current year 22-23, Petra paid a weekly rentals of 180. So if you see, Petra has paid how much? Weekly rentals. So 180 pounds. So we have total 52 weeks. Agreed? We have total 52 weeks in a year. So he has paid that much. So this is what my normal maths goes. So what will be my gross rentals which I will achieve? So my gross rent will be nearly 9360 pounds. I haven't read the question full. It's just what my normal calculation says. Okay. Then, okay, Roger. I'm Roger. I have incurred an expenditure of 8,100. Okay. So what he is telling you, okay, ma'am, I have received this much of rent. Let me minus whatever expenditure I did it, and then only I'll pay tax. Now, we have to understand Roger made a rent a room election in an earlier years. Oh, ho, ho. When an individual makes a rent a room election in any earlier years, these things have been reduction. So there is a limit of getting an exemption, if you remember. Yeah, if you remember, if the deductible expenses increased are more than 7,500, yeah, the election of the benefit is not been available, not beneficial in the practical terms. It would be unusual for the expenses to exceed this amount. So that means if he had made with rent, his restrictions of expenditure will be not more than 7,500. You should know this concept, Baba. It is there in your notes. You have to just have an eye on. So that shows, okay, I'll just mark two ways. So over here, with and without. With rent room elections, and without that, without rent room elections. Okay, so the first point over here goes with rent room. So yeah, you are getting a gross rent. So yeah, ma'am, you'll say, ma'am, my gross rent I was getting was fixed. My gross rent was 180 into 52 weeks. Yeah, ma'am, that was very common. So yeah, just I did 180 into 52 weeks. So I was getting up a rent of 9360. Over here also, my gross rent was 9360 only. But if I have made an election, my expenses will be restricted to some point. So that will be, exemption will be 7,500 only. So less I'm getting an exemption on the expenses of 7,500 only. So what will be my width thing? So I'll be having an assessable value of what? 1860? Yeah. But when it is something without rent, so there is something like whatever you made, then expenditure, deductible expenditure. So whatever deductible expenditure I'm having it, let's say I was having 8,100, so please allow that much and book the assessable value whichever is remaining, which comes around to be 1260. Are you super clear? Yes. So you have to know this, prior to other topics. Yes, I hope it's clear. Pretty fine. Yeah. Up next, if you read, there's one more question which talks about, okay, occupational pension contribution. What's that? Occupational pension contribution. Okay. So over here, there's a person who is going to contribute things. Okay, there's a person who is going to contribute things. So let's see, okay, how we are supposed to like get the benefits of pensions. Okay, so yeah, this is also important. You please try to understand this question. It is worth getting good marks. Okay. Yeah. So example one, occupational pension contribution. Parks is an employee. So there is an employee. They're talking about an employee who is earning very hard just as to get some money, and then he is having some pension contribution. Yeah, let's read it. Parks is employed, and Park is employed. Okay, the person is employed and it's a member, and is a member of his employer's occupational pension scheme. The following are certain figures related to him. First, he is having an employment income of what? Okay, he is having a salary of 126,500. Cool. Employer, not employee. Words are very important. Employer's contribution is 28,500. Okay. And employee's contribution, it's 19k. Clear? Pakka till here? Yes. Now you remember how much deduction I get it from paying taxes. Baba, we will get whatever I have made an expenditure, isn't it? My employer would made, I will not get that. Ari, I am taking about my income tax, so what things I will get it? So yeah, before I go ahead, just try to develop the answers. We have to find it out. What we have to find it out, the Park's income tax liability for the current year. So yeah, let's go. Parks, income tax liability for the current year. For that, you have to first of all find out what is the income. So yeah, we have an employment income of how much? So the person is having an employment income of how much, guys? So it's like, okay, ma'am, you have to see the figures. It's 126,500. It's 126,500. Employee has made a contribution. Employee's contribution will get a deduction. What's employee's contribution? Ma'am, it was like 19K. If I'm getting a deduction, what amount is my remaining part? It's like, ma'am, 107,500. Yeah. Am I getting employer's contribution also? Ma'am, no. Ma'am, employer's contribution, ma'am, we get it like nothing. Nothing means allegedly nothing. You don't get anything. So your remaining part will be what? So yeah, you have a total income of how much? So ma'am, my total income turns around to be 107,500 only. Yeah. Now, on that, ma'am, what I have to do? I have to pay like taxes? Yeah, ma'am. But before that, guys, we have a personal allowances. So ma'am, you will say, okay, ma'am, it's more than 1 lakh now. So we will not get any personal allowance. I'll beat you. No, I'll not. It's a virtual beats. No. So Baba, we know now. If it's more than 125, 140 only, then we get no allowances. But then we have to find it out. So please figure it out over here in the working note 1. I'll put up working note 1 with red color. About the personal allowances. Normally we get 12,570. Otherwise we find it out. What is my total income? Let's say 107,500. I'll get the threshold limits, if you remember. Figure it out, the threshold limits. Ma'am, the threshold limits are 1 lakh. Anything in excess, 7,500 is in excess. Excess, get 50% disallowed. 50% disallowed means how much, guys, disallowed? Do it na. 7,500 into 50% disallowed. Is it 3,750 disallowed? So yeah, ma'am, 3,750 is disallowed. So what is allowed? So 12,570 minus 3,750, which is disallowed. Are you getting some allowable PA? Are you getting the allowable PA of some 8820? Yeah, ma'am, I'm getting an allowable of 8820. So if I'm getting this, what will be what will be my taxable income? Yeah, so then my taxable income will be how much? If you find it out, your taxable income will be 98,680. Yes, clear? So simple na, ma'am. Now on that we have to pay taxes. That's all. 98,680. Yes, pay taxes on that. So your total taxable income is 98,680. So on that we know it's the higher taxpayer. So initially 37,700, pay 20% tax, and remaining, please find it out, the remaining stuff. So ma'am, 98,680 minus 37,700, ma'am, be getting a amount of 51,980 into 40%. So my tax liability is 7,540 and 25, like something like 7,540 pounds, and 24,392 pounds. So if I take my total tax liability is this much. What's that? 31,932 pounds is my total tax liability. Clear? Simple? Easy? Pakka? Did you understood it? See, guys, things are pretty cool. Things are pretty easy, where we don't have to like think so much. Very easy. We can we can easily like seriously, students, things are easily achievable, where we can get good marks. So when I am in the position to get the perfect marks, why will I make some mistakes, because of which I get some marks which is reduced? So I will never make a mistake. So I will never plan to have any mistakes if like this type of question comes. So students, with this revisionary series, you don't know, but we are going ahead with lot of questions also. So it is any which way is very beneficial for you guys. In the last day, inherent taxes, I have taken up so much questions, guys. Like not from your notes for sure, like some questions, but just imagine so deep we have learned within a lesser period of not even 2 hours. Not even in 2 hours we have did so much of questions. So it is any which ways, ma'am, interesting, guys. So love for ATX should be there. Love for ATX. Yeah. Up next we have a question which is also known as example 2, which is relief. Am I getting any relief for personal pension contribution? Personal pension contribution. So they have told, okay, please find out Mark's total income tax liability for the current year. Okay, we'll find it out. We don't have any problem. That is a thing which we need to find out. So let's find out. Mark is employed. There is a person who is employed, means he's doing somewhere job. Okay. He is not enrolled in any occupational pension schemes. Okay, so he's just doing job. He don't want to enter into any occupational stuff. But he is a member of personal pension scheme. Okay. So he is having a salary of 160 and he has personally contributed 38,000. So it's okay now, simple, we can do it. But over here, again we need to know where it is personal pension. Now please, there is a difference between that. When it was old question, what we did it, whatever I contributed as an employee contributed, we were deducting it. Just give me a minute, I want to check whether there is any sound or not. Yeah, students, I know there is a sound because down to my studio there is wedding which is going on, like the wedding stuff, and I am so happy that you guys even study at the time when people are enjoying. Seriously, like at our places there is like Diwali and all the stuff, and you guys are working so hard. So I'm really blessed to be a tutor with you guys. So to be very frank today, like when I see the whole world enjoying and we being sitting and studying, I feel like we are achieving some milestones. Yeah, seriously. So even I'll just share my things with you guys. Like if I was having my examination of CA. I am a chartered accountant, yeah. So I was giving up my examination, and the day normally for CA students in India, we have a paper for May and November, and always they used to be like, I stay in the joint family, so basically we have all the kids coming up at my place, and yeah, so they used to have the vacations, and always at that time I used to have my examination. So twice, thrice, or many a times I have even cried. Like I was wondering, okay, ma'am, why am I like sitting idle where the whole world is enjoying? Then I got to know we are sitting idle, or we are sitting just alone at the place to make the wonders. And yes, guys, you guys are gonna make the wonders. Like, let the whole world enjoy. We will work silently, and we'll achieve the milestones, and then we'll prove to the world that, see, where are we? Okay. And beyond world, I'll just tell you, always make proud to your parents, and that is what art really is required. Okay, so yeah, like when it was getting up a sound, I just stood up and I just saw, and I just was thinking once, okay, like let the world enjoy. We are enjoying in our own terms. So people have different way to enjoy. We enjoy daily. We enjoy study. We enjoy studies. We enjoy knowledge that we enjoy daily. People just get like once in a blue moon to enjoy. We guys are getting it daily. So let's enjoy. Cool. Yes. See, like I am having so much of okay. I'll just share something personal. Like I am having asthma problem, so I'll just have to take the pump and maybe have to also take up some medicines. But that is never an issue. Why? Because even after taking one medicine, if I'm fit and fine, I'm thankful, I'm grateful that yeah, I'm able to study, I'm able to make others study. So it's okay, we get the knowledge. Yeah. Okay. It's okay, it's okay. I just go with the flow. But yeah, don't worry. We have some questions to be done and then some mocks for sure for this December 2023. Okay. So the relief for the personal pension contribution. So I just heard the word and I missed my days when I used to study. Now is the time when I'm making others to study. Okay. So Mark is employed and yeah, it's not enrolled in an occupational pension scheme, not enrolled. So he'll not even get this personal pension contribution whatever he has made the payments. So yeah, let's without any further delay just develop the answer. So what's his employment income? So I will just write the employment income. So yeah, he'll be having an employment income of 160. Will he get any allowances? So if you just see, now here there is a confusion. Why, you know? We need to know about the pension contribution. It will not be deducted from your final stage, no. But it will be adjusted when you are doing ANI. Adjusted net income. Yes. So what's that? My salary over here, or my employment income over here is 160. Then you remember over here, we always have to understand the stuff which is, it cannot be net and always 20%. So what we make, ma'am, guys, we make it as a gross. If you remember, we always have to make it as a gross. So if I make it as a gross, what it is? So I'll just put it up on ANI. Yeah, my employment stuff. Okay. Yeah, just try to understand. We are finding it out first for the personal allowances. For PA, I have to find out what the ANI, adjusted net income. So for that, what we have to do? First, take the employment income. Let's say my employment income is 160. I have to reduce whatever I have paid. That is gross pension. Gross pension. Hey, what's gross pension? Ah, you have to divide it by 80% if you remember. Yeah. So 38,000 divided by 80%. Please do it. You will get amount of somewhere 47,500. Please reduce 47,500 out of 160. If I reduce 47,500 out of this 160, what am I getting it, guys? Yeah, you get in around 112,500. Oh, now I can find it out pension. Yeah, now I can find it out my PA. Yeah, now this becomes my income. This becomes my ANI, adjusted net income. Then minus your threshold limits. So yeah, you will say, okay, ma'am, my threshold limits are 1 lakh. So ma'am, my extra amount is 12,500. 50% will be disallowed. How much is disallowed, guys? So please do 50% of it is disallowed, 12,500. Yeah, it's 6250 which is disallowed. So how much PA is allowed for you guys? 6250 disallowed. So PA allowed will be 12,570 minus 6250. So am I getting 6320? Yes. Now this is what you have to allow as your personal allowances. Yes, you should know these concepts. Okay, now when they have told, let's just read it what can be done. So yeah, they have given some employment income, so we'll just formulate the answer. So I'll just write my employment income is how much. Let's say my employment income comes down to be, yeah, I will never ever write right. I'll be like Srivalli. Yeah, like I have some shoulder issues. Yeah, so like it happens like that. Cool. Employment income is 160. Now please don't be cautious, otherwise I'll feel conscious because I don't see myself writing, otherwise I'll be very funny. Yeah, chalo. Okay, so that could be one stuff, and another way, it could be like we have to just reduce my personal allowances, which I just got it right now. So yeah, ma'am, less personal allowances of 6320, which I just found it off right now. So my remaining amount is what, guys? Yeah, now that is your taxable income. So your taxable income is something which is 153,680. Oh, ma'am, it's getting something more than 150. Oh, yes. Seriously? Over here, we need to take a huge amount of care. You have to take a huge amount of care. You have to put up the taxes. When I put up a taxes over here now, people will always make a mistakes, which I again don't want you all to make. Okay. So how much should I pay them? Should I pay them excess, or can I have some reliefs? Can I have some reliefs? Yeah. You must be knowing one concept which is known as marginal relief. What's marginal relief? Something extra than 150, which I'm having a slabs. You remember? It's not like something which is way beyond more than 150. Means if I'm having something under 150, it is 40%. Something more than 150, it directly goes to 45%. Can I have any sort of marginal relief here? So yeah, ma'am, I'm having some relief. Let's go first of all with the non-saving incomes. If I see my non-saving incomes, you will say, okay, ma'am, this means initially let it be, let's say, initially let 37,700 till 37,700. Can I put 80? No, ma'am. I can put 85,200. Like how 85,200, ma'am, are you saying about that? Okay. So initially you can have something which is higher rate. For example, I don't think that you must not be knowing it. You should know it. That is known as your extended basic or higher rate relief. So we have a concept which is known as extended relief, which is basically we have to go in both the slabs, like the higher rate and the additional rate, because I am having either the higher rate or the additional higher rate. So higher rate means what will be the amount, what will be the minimum amount? Yeah, we know, ma'am, the initial was 37,700 and plus something. Additional means, ma'am, 1,50,000 plus something, plus what? Plus I have to find it out. How much is the gross pension you got it? Ma'am, I got the gross pension of 47,500. Yeah, 47,500. So if I add 47,500 over here, what will I get? So if I add this 47,500, yeah, over here, the gross pension, the gross pension of 47,500 over here also, and 47,500 over here also. Hey, what's the amount I'm getting it? Yeah, revised threshold changes. So my revised threshold is what? Yeah, now it is 85,200 and over here it's 197,500. So you should know this concept, which is basically understood as a revised threshold. So now my revised threshold for the first slab turns around to be 85,200. So now when you pay the taxes on this taxable amount 153,680, my total taxable income is 153,580. My initial 85,200 will be taxed at 20%, and the remaining is how much? 68,480 will be taxed at 40%, and this is known as your relief that you guys get it. So over here it's a basic rate, it's an higher rate. I hope you guys getting it. Yes. So what's the taxes? My taxes are coming to 17,040. And over here it comes to 27,392, I think. Yeah. So if you take up a total, my tax liability will be 4,432 pounds only. Yes, and this is what you have to learn it. You have to understand it when I'm having some reliefs. So add it to the slabs. So that I get to know, okay, which is more beneficial. Great, and get the final amount. Whatever I feel it more confident, whatever I feel it more appropriate, please do that and go ahead. Okay, clear? Paka. Did you understood it? Yes. So I'm very happy for you guys to understand all the stuffs. And yes, students, so over here now we have covered up a huge and good questions. And I'm not going to show anything else. Okay, I want to cancel all this stuff. I don't want to save also right now. So over here now with these students, we have completed some important questions which I have taken it up from the chapters of income tax competition. So this time my first emphasis was to complete about the income taxes, and maybe in the next quarter I'll be checking it up with the corporation tax stuff also.